when I look at my world champion speech, and this is so important to me, and what I refer to as the something is the potential that you and I have. Now, I know initially it takes a lot of time to figure out what this potential could be. And when I use the word something, what I'm referring to is that raw potential. Raw potential is a raw talent, a raw skill, a raw energy, a raw inclination towards something. It's not well defined. It doesn't have a solid form. It doesn't have a color, a solid color. It's just something. But it's important because you can mold that potential into whatever you want. We all have potential. What most of us don't have is a well-defined, well-molded frame for that potential. For example, when I look back at my life now, I realize I've always had a potential to get in front of a crowd. I was never afraid to be in front of a crowd. That was potential. Public speaking was the frame that I inserted on top of that potential, and that potential took the shape of public speaking. So in my speech, I see something when I talk about find that something in you. I'm not referring to a particular specific skill set that you can put your finger into. I'm talking about finding that potential. Look inside of you and realize that you have this raw energy that you can mold into whatever you want. When I look back at my life, I realize that I figuring out that potential happened through the people I associated. So when I referred to that something, what I was talking about was that potential all of us have within us. How do you find that something was David's other question is this. For me in my life, for a long time, I wasn't able to realize how I could mold my potential into something bigger. And I always say this, we are like this giant washing machine. I just want you to imagine this washing machine, huge washing machine, which has about thousands of buttons. It's a very powerful washing machine. But the problem is you never got an instruction manual for this washing machine. Now, you have two ways you can figure out how these buttons work. One way is you can press each button and figure out which button works for which function. The next option is you can go to people who have the same washing machine and ask them which button does which function. And that's what I did. You and I, we both are like these giant pieces of equipment that has a lot of potential, but we don't have an instruction manual. So what happens is that we try to figure it out on our own. It takes a lot of time. But something that you can do better is go to people who have figured out things about life, figured out different facets of life, figured out different secrets to becoming successful, and ask them. And that's exactly what I did. So just to recap on this whole question is, what is that something? The something is the potential that you and I have, that raw energy, which we can mold into whatever we want. How do you find that something? For me, it was by association. It was by asking people who figured out the secrets and then using that to my advantage. Now, it's not the only way, but it's the way that really worked for me.